Well, good morning, everybody. And as we start this Friday forecast here, I just wanted to go back to a radar animation here, looking at yesterday on the 1st through this morning here on the 2nd. And a couple of important things have kind of been going on. We continue to see the scattered convection across the southeast, the heavier rains that were in Texas. But it's this low coming out of parts of Oklahoma moving into parts of Missouri this morning that I'm going to keep a close eye on. Because there's a frontal boundary sweeping through this morning, as you can see it at the end of this animation, again, coming through parts of Minnesota, down into parts of Iowa and Nebraska. Yesterday, out ahead of that, we had some outstanding rains go right through the middle part of Iowa. Pretty poorly forecast before just yesterday for these particular rains. And as you watch this animation, it's interesting. You can actually see at the very end of it, watch right over here in Oregon, you'll actually be able to see, it should be coming up here, in the overnight last night right there, that's actually some wildfire smoke in Oregon. I'm going to take you back and show you this. So yesterday evening, we can see as the sun was setting, quite a bit of wildfire action happening in Northern California, Oregon, parts of Washington, specifically eastern Washington, but then throughout Idaho. And so we're going to continue to see very hot conditions throughout the West over the next several days, and that's going to be problematic for more of this risk on wildfire. So you can see here the latest forecast update on where that smoke is going to be going. It kind of gets pulled into that broader ridge for a while, and you can see it been getting yanked out. Look at this. This is a great animation showing you how that front is stretching out the smoke farther to the east here over the next 48 hours. Okay, with that kind of in mind, let's go straight into the high-res NAM model to see where this is all going here in the near term. So I'm going to start you off at 8 o'clock this morning on Friday Central Time. So front sweeping through here, scattered storms from Texas into the southeast, and here's that low, kind of an upper level of vortex that's moving out of parts of Oklahoma into Missouri. So playing throughout the day today into this evening, let's just pause it right there. We'll see storms kind of going along this boundary and the heavier rain moving through parts of Missouri. Some locally heavy rain here too, maybe an inch or two, maybe more than that out of it. As we then get into the overnight hours tonight and watch through Saturday morning, getting through Saturday midday and Saturday evening. Now you can see the front interacting with that low. A lot of scattered storms along the Gulf Coast, but this low is going to potentially produce some locally heavy rains in through here as the front finally sweeps through and interacts with it. And just notice as we go through the day on Sunday, that's what I'm rocking back and forth over. If you live in these states, that upper level low will kind of dominate our cloud cover pattern and the precipitation pattern. It could produce some locally heavy rains in parts of Indiana, maybe parts of Illinois and Ohio, places that actually could really use one final drink here as we work our way toward harvest. Now after that, the big story is going to be two things. Actually, three things. A tropical system that could move up through here late in the week. We're going to see a lot of moisture get pulled with an upper level cutoff low that's going to move over parts of New England. And then on it's really going to be on like the 9th, we're watching a storm system emerge on the kind of the U.S.-Canada border. And as it comes in, it could really just pull quite a bit of moisture up. Until then, much of this area is going to be on the drier side of things. But if you look over here at the week 2 pattern, a lot of what you see here in that corridor of wetter conditions is coming from that first system that's going to be there on the on the 9th and 10th. But do note that this region is very wet, and you can see it continuing here into week 2. That's been a pretty consistent signal. In terms of the tropics, they did name Danielle yesterday. It's currently a tropical storm. It's about 15 miles an hour shy of being, it's about 5 miles an hour shy of being a hurricane. And we've also been downgraded in the potential development of this lead wave down to 70% according to the National Hurricane Center. The wave that follows has really been downgraded down to 10%. Now I'd like to show you what's going on here. And here are the latest forecast tracks for systems that have yet to form. So you don't see Danielle here. And one of the more important things we've noticed is that more of the ensemble members are trying to bring whatever this could become closer to the Carolinas, which means this weekend I'm going to have to watch this carefully. It is still a week away, but we're going to have to watch it. On the East Pacific side, we have a tropical system here named Javier, and Javier is going to go out to open ocean. It's the system that follows that we've seen some better evidence of it moving over the Baja, possibly moving into northern Mexico and getting either into the southwest or into Texas. We've seen some model support in that occurring. The latest European models show something of that nature. So as we play this forward, you're going to see the pieces we've already discussed through Sunday. So let's get out there to Sunday. And then you'll notice throughout next week a lot of rain through this corridor, but drier back to the west. So this is through Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Now at that point next Wednesday, here's the second system we're discussing and the potential tropical cyclone that could move north of kind of this part of the greater Antilles. And what we see here is that that system, here it is, the one that could go over the Baja, move into northern Mexico. And it'll be interesting to watch the timing of this with the low we talked about coming on the 8th and 9th out of the Canadian Prairie. Now that's the one that's going to draw some of this moisture back into this area. I'll be worried about a severe weather problem maybe next Friday as the front just slices through here, pulling on plenty of Gulf moisture. But this is the current position that the European model's putting that system. Yesterday it was coming over Texas, now it's here. We're going to see a lot of that model flip-flop because it's pretty far out there. And then note, this is where the tropical system is in the current European run. But that frontal boundary pushes it out to open ocean. But you just saw this corridor showing up quite wet for the next several days. And again, late next week, I'm worried about severe storms in through this area. From there, I just want to show you, this is the whole next 7 days of total accumulated precipitation from the European. Here it is from the GFS. So again, the European and GFS, we've been doing this multi-model analysis all week. And to put them two together, remember that these colors represent where the European is wetter and this is where the GFS is. So overall, the European is a much wetter model for a large area, but the GFS wants to bring that tropical system right here. European keeps it farther to the south, so we need to watch that carefully. Gulf Coast looks pretty wet this week. From there, let's talk about that next system, because what it has to do is break down this ridge. So going from Monday into Tuesday and Wednesday, pretty robust signal that that's going to be occurring by next Thursday. So that's that trough I want to watch very carefully. It'll also bring in a little bit of cooler weather to the Pacific Northwest, which as you can see here early this morning still has red flag warnings, heat advisories, and in California excessive heat warnings. This is a fire weather watch in parts of Montana. And the high temperatures today, well, there's a brief cool down coming through the northern plains, but quite hot out ahead of that front, and in the northwest in California Central Valley, very hot. So that cool down pushes into the upper Midwest on Saturday, but look, Montana already rebounds in the low 100s going into Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday of next week. So going right through Labor Day, very hot conditions here in the northwestern plains, in the Intermountain West, through like the Snake River Valley, and here in California Central Valley. So here's next Wednesday and Thursday, the cool down of the northwest, that is ahead of that big system we keep watching. Lastly, I do want to show you here, this is our latest temperature forecast as we go through the next 15 days or so, and it's really kind of bringing in some warmer air, but that's the cool down we're going to expect to see here as that system rolls through late next week. And after that though, I still don't see any signs of an early frost. Last thing, if you get a chance to read the report, I did include the new climate summary from the Bureau of Meteorology on La Nina. You get it from several different forecasting agencies. We go from September and October, November, and our discussion really comes back to seeing if this La Nina really does fade going into the middle of winter. A lot of evidence that it could. It's only the British and the Canadians that still keep a relatively stronger La Nina going forward. So we'll keep all of this kind of in the back of our minds going forward into this weekend and report to you again on Monday. I appreciate your attention this week and have a good weekend. Thanks.